You can keep your Anfields, Goodison Parks, White Hart Lanes and Old Traffords. For me, the only place to be of a Saturday afternoon in the early 70s was here, the baseball ground, home of Derby County. When this place is full, there's not a ground anywhere else in the country that can touch it for atmosphere. Back in the 70s, it was usually packed to the rafters. The reason? Well, that's obvious. Quality teams. They won the title twice, and some quality players as well. The likes of Roy McFarland, Kevin Hector, Roger Davis and Francis Lee. What this video sets out to do is to tell you what it was like to be a Derby fan back in the early 70s. So sit back and wallow in that fantastic feeling of nostalgia. We start the action with one I'm sure you'll enjoy. A trip to the City Ground to face local rivals Nottingham Forest. Brian Clough and Peter Taylor were in charge of the Rams then, and the team contains many of the players that had taken the club to the Second Division Championship and would lead them to their first ever league title.
Attacking the goal on your left. Attacking it immediately through Archie Gummel at this moment. The man who did so much damage to Forest last season here in this fixture. Eric Hume, the new goalkeeper, the new boy in the side. Good touch on there. Here's Buckley. Looking this side for Lyons. Forest attacking the goal on the right. The dark red shirts and the white shorts. Buckley did well. Lyons across into an empty goaler. McFarland off the line and Todd gives away the corner. What a beautiful bit of attacking there. Cool thinking then by young Buckley. Lyons planting that ball into what was virtually an empty net. And McFarland the saviour of his side. Here's the corner for Forest. And Ian Moore getting a touch. Ian Moore, the man who really gets the goals for this Forest side. Powell picking up John McGovern. O'Hare, little touch for Hector. O'Hare again, the touch for Hector. Wide of the right-hand post, but there, a beautiful interchanging movement then between Kevin Hector and John O'Hare. There's Kevin Hector. 193 goals in the league, his total, with Bradford City and Bradford Park Avenue, rather, in Derby County, and very nearly getting his 194th. Richardson. Kenzie got a touch. Todd got it over the line and appealed for a penalty. Really, it wasn't a very half-hearted appeal anyway. Richardson, as the white shirts of Derby congregate their own penalty area. Richardson's corner then. Moore trying it. Robson got up high. Fraser back for Richardson again. Moore. And over the bar. Good header from Ian Moore. A good save then by Colin Bolton. There's Ian Moore. Well, Robertson started one attack off, now another one. Buckley, and he's overrun it. An easy tidy-up job for Todd. Paul Robertson getting very well involved in the game. Here's Mackenzie now for Forest. The number 2 as Webster. Mackenzie has done too much. And the penalty's given. The penalty's given. Mackenzie tumbled down when I thought that he perhaps tackled more than he could bite off for himself. And a penalty it is. And it's a dead cert that Ian Moore will take it. The scorer of 3 penalties already in his 9 league goals this season. 101 league goals to his credit, so if you stick a nought between the 2 ones on his back, that's the total of league goals he's scored already. We're now looking for goal number 102 from Ian Moore.
Derby pushed on the pressure in the second half.
A great save from McFarlane by Eric Hume, but pushing in the box already would have knocked it off if the ball had gone in the net. Free kick given. Kenzie up. Kane again. Oh, what a neat ball. Robertson laying it off to Fraser. Moore. And Webster's all right. And so's Hector. Fabulous ball for Hector. And he's overrun it. Hindley bundling down Hector eventually, but the goal kick is given. Farland as far as McGovern. Picking up Rodson. John McGovern. Waiting for somebody to come close, and inevitably it's O'Hare. McGovern faced by O'Kane with Hindley in support. McGovern there. And that's Hinton. Line by Chapman. Handled off the line by Chapman. Hinton's header. Hinton's shot. Beaten the goalkeeper. I said earlier that Ian Moore was a dead shot from the penalty spot, but I could say the same thing about Hinton. He knows what he's doing, but we'll see now whether he puts Derby into the lead. He did. It's 1-0 then to Derby County with a penalty kick. And justice well done. And Hindley taking it over. Going hard and going well. Hindley leading the attack. Might try one. He does. And very nearly squeezed one past this goalkeeper. Into space, but no red shirt in there. The white shirt there is Robson. Steaming away all on his own. Could try one here, certainly. And he scores! What a goal!
A hugely enjoyable away win for the Rams, but it should be said that most of their success was built on a superb home record. What does Roy McFarlane remember about that infamous baseball ground pitch?
I think it was more in the late 60s, just bordering on the early 70s, that the pitch was known for it being very muddy. I mean, I can't believe how good the pitch is on the videos, as you say, because all I can remember, certainly in the late 60s, was playing on a mud heap. But that didn't stop us playing football. The one thing about the mud, it seems as if it was on the surface. It was just the top 2 or 3 inches that was really muddy. You didn't get really stuck into it as regards being too deep. So we played a lot of football on what was a very difficult conditions.
Did it hinder your talent at all, having to play on that?
Not really. It probably did for our opponents, because they weren't used to it, but we got used to playing in them conditions.
Was there a certain way of playing?
Not really. No, we just went out and played. But we got used to playing in them conditions because we were playing every other week on it, and sometimes we were training on it as well. So we just got used to it.
But, as you can see here, the pitch didn't always resemble an Irish bog. As our action moves on to the following season.
Indirect free kick. Again, Sheffield United pull those striped shirts back. McFarlane with a kick. Hennessy, tuck for Hector. Oh, and he very nearly sneaked it past McAllister. Sheffield United patently showing that they've come here for a point. They'll take 2 if they get a break. They've come here to defend. Attitude is, if the ball is in the crowd, Derby comes it. McGovern for Hinton. McFarlane. Hector. Derby ball. Hector for O'Hare. Hinton, a chance on for Todd to hammer it. Oh, Colin Todd, his first goal of the season. 35 minutes into the first half, and electrifies this baseball ground with a tremendous goal. That's only the 6th goal, league goal of Colin Todd's career. And as it came across to him, it was always on for him to whack a goal, and he did it with tremendous power. Dahoun getting a touch, but only as far as Hinton. Powell. Hector. Hinton. Curry now. For Woodward. Could be a break on here as Dearden goes streaming down the middle. There he goes. Staniforth has crept into the box. Too long for him. Corner, left side from Steve Powell. The man who'll go out to take it, Alan Woodward, and it is the first corner for Sheffield United in the second half. They only got one in the first half. Woodward, number 7. Sheffield United have adventurously put 5 men in the box to attack on this corner ball situation. Staniforth up. And that's a great goal from Curry. That's the equaliser. Tony Curry makes it 1-1. Corner kick beautifully flighted from Woodward. The youngster Dave Staniforth up above Hennessy to knock it back into the box, and Curry bit on it like a rattlesnake, straight in the back of the net. And we've gone 16 minutes, 17 minutes into the second half for that scoreline to go up. So Derby with it all to do, all over again. Kevin Hector going against Flynn. Referee says play on. Hector's still there. It's a great ball. Kevin Hector did that well. And a break on again for... That's handball by Dearden. Billy Dearden taking a left hook at the ball to try and gain a little advantage. But it wasn't on. He's an eager beaver, this Billy Dearden. Score of 35 goals in 85 games for Sheffield United after coming up from the 4th division. Tony Curry. Nish taking it. Nish winning it. Terry Hennessy. Steve Powell. Hector right in the back. That is a penalty. It's given. Flynn. The man who was penalised. So it's almost a repeat performance from last year. 2 penalties in the game last year. Now we've got one in this. And it's dead-eyed Alan Hinton who goes up to take it. The score of 6 goals this season. 3 of them from the penalty spot. The number 4 man there, the man who was penalised. Doing Hector in the back. Sheffield United complained bitterly. It looked pretty good as a penalty from up here. So it's Hinton versus McAllister for a 2-1 lead. And a great save! Hector! O'Hare! It's there anyway! O'Hare, the scorer. 19 minutes and McAllister is 6-6-6. Hinton let off the hook then. Hinton taking that penalty so casually. McAllister making a tremendous save. Hector chasing up for the rebound. Back into the box, and before United could sort themselves out, O'Hare knocks in a 2-1 advantage given to Derby. Governed well on. O'Hare. Woodward. Being chased by Robson. And a chance on for Dave Nish. Great opening for him. Through himself, it's a penalty given. Well, I really wouldn't believe that one. Malcolm Sinclair giving his second penalty of the game and looking as though he's going to reach for his book again. McAllister, who's already saved one penalty. And referee Sinclair, who's he signalling to? Who does he want to book? Eddie Colquhoun is having a fair piece to say. Well, I was saying only just now, this game produced 2 penalties last season, both of them bitterly competed, and it's Goulding who's booked. So Nish tumbled down by McAllister, and Hinton, the misser of one penalty this afternoon, given the opportunity to try his hand with another one. And the chance of a 3-1 lead coming up. So once again, Hinton versus McAllister. And he saved it again! How about that? What an incredible bit of football! Young Tom McAllister, 2 penalties.
The very rare experience of Alan Hinton missing from the penalty spot. One of the ending memories of the baseball ground were packed houses, in excess of 30,000 on many occasions. As the players recall, supporters generated a fantastic atmosphere.
Well, as you say, 30,000, it was more or less a full house. I think a full house would have been, at that particular time, maybe 34, 35, practically a full house. It was because the standing area, the stands seem so close to the pitch, and it gives a special atmosphere, and I would think an unnerving atmosphere for away teams, because the supporters are so close. It feels as if you can almost touch them. And of course, when the majority of those supporters are chanting for you in terms of the home team, in Derby's case, then it was a tremendous lift and a tremendous pressure for the opposition.
When people talk about the great baseball ground atmosphere, I think that's the sort of occasion they're recalling.
I think probably all teams like to come and play here, not from the results they used to get, good to play here, because it's always been good atmosphere. You're close to the pitch, the crowd are always, they're probably a very biased crowd at Derby, they always have been. I mean, Derby as a city is a real football crazy place anyway, but there's always a great atmosphere, so you're close to people and you can hear what they're saying, and it was part of it. And when things were going well, it was a great experience.
One game that perfectly sums up Brian Clough's Derby County side was this memorable match against Arsenal. Terrific action and a fantastic atmosphere.
Pat Rice. Maninello's moved down the right touchline, but he looks as though he's marked up. So it's McClintock. Alan Ball. And a chance for George. Oh, and that was a chance on for Charlie George. Kelly. McClintock, good call. Good interception from Hennessy, but it's still breaking for Arsenal. Oh, what a fine ball, Charlie George. What a beautiful move that was. Hinton, and still the pressure mounting on Arsenal. And again, Davis gets it down. McGovern, stopped by Simpson. And finally Wilson pounces. What a great bit of work then by Simpson. McGovern's shot was certainly on its way into the net. Hector. Arsenal funneling back. There's too many men for him to go through them all. Red shirts of Arsenal block the path to these Derby forwards in little groups of threes. Gemmell then picking up Davis. Cross ball, Simpson. Oh, and Hector! McGovern has scored it! John McGovern gets his first goal of the season. A terrible move in the Arsenal defence. 21 minutes into the game, John McGovern makes it 1-0 Derby. A crowd anticipating the big bombing boot of Alan Hinton to try a whack at goal. It's the chip. Davis is up. Roger Davis up. Knocked it down near post. Remember him getting a goal against Airdrie in the Texaco Cup final with his head, and it was a good one. Hinton robbing Rice. And Rice coming back to try and snap at him again. Archie Gemmell now. Marinello coming back with Gemmell. Gemmell. And it's Marinello who does Gemmell this time. This tiny little fellow gets people so angry with his ball skills. Finally the bad tackle comes. Jones having a go at referee Jones having a go at Marinello. Here's Hinton's kick. And that's McFarland! No, it's pushed back. Referee Jones says that he was not ready for the kick to be taken. Well, would you believe that? There was a case where you give a free kick to give a side an advantage, they take advantage of it, they knock the ball into the net, and it's got to be retaken because the defence wasn't ready. Well, the defence and the referee, I suppose. So it's all going to happen again. Hinton. And not that time. And the crowd giving this referee, Mr. Jones, fair bit of stick. Hinton saying that Kevin Hector would have helped the action if he'd come in on the far post there. And just under 10 minutes of the first half to go. Archie Gemmell up first and highest. McGovern did that well. Webster. Arsenal getting a little bit ragged now. They've got 2 and 3 men chasing one player. Big Roger Davis. And it's come for Hinton. And he can whack it from there. Oh yes! That will do for Alan Hinton. It's 2-0 Derby. 36 minutes into the first half, and that happy fellow, Alan Hinton, top goal scorer for the club now, his 6th league goal of the season. And Arsenal got themselves in a lot of trouble then as the ball was breaking about. They didn't get it clear properly. Came across to Hinton, took one man on, got it on the right foot, and bang, it's in the back of the net. Johnny McGovern to take this one. And one more time. Hennessey's in the box. If they can lift the ball to the far post. Well, they got the corner anyway. Off McNabb. McNabb going to the near post. The big number 9 boy. Towers above everybody else in the penalty area. It's Roger Davis. Now McFarland, number 5, has come in there. Hennessey, number 4, is already there. Hinton. Webster. Hinton the cross now. Oh, yes! McFarland! Right on the post! It's 3-0. 39 minutes of the first half, and Derby really turning on the pressure. 3-0. McFarland the scorer. Neatly worked. Corner kick. Wilson furious about things. What a comeback for him. Neatly worked corner kick. Finally Hinton knocking it hard for the far post, and McFarland unmarked right on the far post. Bangs it into the net. Hector. Neatly for big Roger Davis. Webster trying to pick up a free man. He'll go for Hector. Oh, that was a bad one by Story. Referee Jones getting down on Peter Story. Nerves are getting a little bit torn and strained in the Arsenal line now, trailing 3-0. We want 4 is what the crowd is shouting. Hinton might just be the man to deliver it for them. And that is Hector! And they've got their 4! How about that? Wilson again, terribly exposed. As if Hector had listened to the crowd and says, OK, you want 4, we'll give you 4. Kevin Hector makes it 4-0. That free kick at 42 minutes of this first half from Alan Hinton. Arsenal all over the place, and the 4th goal goes past Bob Wilson. Another dead ball situation for Derby, which could spell more trouble for Arsenal. They've been caught before. McFarlane couldn't get there, neither could Wilson. It's Hector, away by Radford. Hector now looking for Davis. Roger Davis still there. McGovern, Hector, facing up to Story. And again, that's a foul. Foul against Story. Referee Jones standing there. He was waiting for it. Hector was teasing Story into doing it. So this dead ball specialist, Hinton. Far post, and it's Davis! That's another one! Roger Davis scores his first ever league goal! And another tragedy for Bob Wilson and the Arsenal defence. We're just 2 minutes, 1 minute and 45 seconds into the second half. And the crowd going wild here at the baseball ground. Yet another dead ball situation.
An emphatic 5-0 thrashing for the Gunners, and a tremendous day for big Roger Davis.
Yes, I remember the game very well. It was obviously because it was my home league debut for Derby, and we were playing Arsenal at the time, one of the top sides in the country. It was my first real big game in front of a lot of people. The atmosphere was tremendous. I think I remember knees shaking or whatever. And as the game progressed, as you know, the result finished 5-0, but as the game progressed, things went well for us. It was one of those games where Alan Hinton had a purple patch. Everything he did went well. And we're 4-0 up half-time, really cruising and going well. And I think the crowd just wanted more and more. And I managed to get on the score sheet just after half-time, which I got the 5th goal there, which was a great thrill for me. And I mean, the whole thing was not just the playing. I think being part of that was a tiring experience. But I'll never forget that game.
It's a game to watch. And Alan Hinton scored one, and he set up 3, including one for yourself. In fact, you had one disallowed as well from him.
Yes. Alan was our dead ball specialist, free kicks, corners. He was always on the ball and always putting crosses in. A tremendous striker of the ball. And I'm pleased for him, as it will show against Arsenal, the power he had in that right foot when he turns inside with his left foot and smacks it with the right foot. The goalkeeper, as much as Bob Wilson didn't play particularly well on the day, he had absolutely no chance with that shot from Alan. That was in a sense, Nottingham Forest's loss because he wasn't in the team at Forest. Brian Clough signed him. And of course, everybody knows he had a tremendous rapport here with the supporters. He had a tremendous time here during his spell with the players, and he was a big asset to us in terms of getting goals from dead pieces, from dead ball situations, should I say.
Alan Hinton was probably the unsung hero of this Derby team. Cloughy considered him to be the key man. You've heard what defender Roy McFarlane made of Hinton's unquestionable ability, but what of Kevin Hector, who had most to gain from the skills of this talented left winger?
Well, it's been said before, but he could put a ball on the sixpence, could Alan? You know, he knew exactly where he was going to put it from, with his left foot or his right foot. And a lot of the goals in the games that he played a lot of goals came from set pieces, which came from Alan.
Yeah.
And it's been said before, but I agree that he's probably one of the best crossers of the ball with either foot round at that time.
A visit to Anfield is always daunting, but it was a game Derby's players always relished. This was the year that Bill Shankly was to guide Liverpool to the First Division title, and the Rams' task was made even more difficult by the appalling weather conditions.
McGovern
Finding O'Hare. Lawler for Cormac. For 11 is Powell. McGovern. Hughes. Toshak is offside. Linesman had his flag up. Lindsay, Callaghan, Lloyd, McGovern, Hector, Kevin Hector, well covered by Clements. Good header by McFarland under pressure from Toshak. Hennessy. Powell. Good header by Lloyd. Smith to Highway. Player who's more handicapped than most by these conditions. Davis. And blocked, but it's gone in. Good break by Davis. Hit it very hard, and although Clements got his body in the way, and they're wanting to have words with the linesman about offside, whole Liverpool players coming over, but here's the replay, and that's a goal. So it's 1-0 to Derby, a goal that Liverpool have contested bitterly, but it stands after a quarter of an hour. Davis again. And a good save by Clements as Davis tried to hook it over him. Lindsay. Highway. Hennessy with the throw. McFarland. Webster. Davis. So difficult to shake off. Had to be shaken over in the end. Cormac. Nish was being pulled back and has been given the free kick, quite rightly. That's anybody's. McFarland. And again. Lawler. Cormac with his throw-in for Liverpool. Keegan shaking off Nish. Toshak! They don't come much better than that in any sort of conditions. Keegan was maybe a bit lucky when Nish slipped in the snow, but after that it was all skill, and what a great header it was from Toshak. 1-1, a quarter of the game gone. Hennessy, Lindsay, and again. Well, that'll be David Nish's. Hector. What beautiful play by Hector. And Liverpool are in trouble. Nobody willing to do anything. I think what the trouble was, the whistle had gone. Looked as though they were all fiddling there, but the whistle had gone way back when the ball was still bouncing around there just by the goal line. Foul by Hennessy. Highway. Cormac taking it out where he's got room. Now can he lift it back in? Trying to tee it up for himself. Headed away by Todd. Davis. Highway setting it up for Lloyd. Cormac's header down for Callagher. The whistle had gone for a foul and a free kick to Liverpool. Three-quarters of the game gone. 1-1 the score. Smith. Toshak, a little dummy. Toshak off the body of Bolton. The second time that Bolton has saved Derby when Toshak has been clean through.
The club captain throughout this successful period was Roy McFarland, Roger. What are your recollections of his ability?
I think Roy's probably the best player I've ever played with. All-round player. He was a naturally gifted player, Roy. You could have played him anywhere. He was a leader. He was a great captain. He's the best centre-half I think this country's probably ever had, and I don't think he's ever been replaced. He was a phenomenal player, and the partnership of him and Colin Todd at the back for any forwards going against them must have been frightening. I can remember when I'd first come to the club when reserves, when we were playing the first team, and I went to tackle Roy, and I accidentally kicked him, and I stopped and apologised to him. You know, I was just in awe of him. And Pete Taylor used to wind me up about it, something rotten. Every time he used to go, have you apologised to him? Or, no, I apologised. I think Roy threatened to kick me or something.
Yeah, well, Roy was a top class centre half, and everybody knows, England international, and a fine player for Derby. Unfortunately, he had his Achilles tendon problem, and then after that he had a couple of thigh strains, which is always affecting a player's career, just as he was getting older. But he had a marvellous career. I played against him when he was at Tranmere, and even then, you know, I said to the Bolton manager that he should have bought him. We played Tranmere in a pre-season match, and I said, that's the guy you should buy, because we were looking for a centre-half. But I think he was too dear for Bolton. I think he was about £8,000 or something like that.
Kevin, Roy McFarland, a very talented defender. Do you think he was wasted at centre-half?
For a centre half, really, his ball control was superb. I mean, he could have played him centre forward, really, and he'd have done well. But a smashing player, good in the air, good on the floor.
We now move on to a new era. Clough and Taylor had gone. Former skipper Dave Mackay was now at the helm. But Derby County was still producing the same exciting brand of football, with new crowd favourites such as Franny Lee and Charlie George.
And Ron Webster turns it back to Bolton. Franny Lee's all right. He looked as though he was offside. Little chip, and it's 1-0. Well, what a dramatic goal for Francis Lee. His second goal of the season. 1-0 Derby. The whole of the Burnley side stopped dead, convinced that Lee had to be offside. Lee hesitated himself for a fraction, and then he went on. And poor Stevenson did the best he could. He came out and spread himself, and Lee just chips it over his head. For Collins. Oh, that was a careless one. Cut out by George. Todd now. And the two going through the middle hard. Rioch and Gemmell picks up instead Hector. It was a very, very good ball indeed. The shot on for Henry Newton. Well, this is exciting stuff from Derby. Burnley at the moment, absolutely pinned right down. Nish. Lee. To where Rioch had been. George, a good challenge. Todd. George. Gave that one a little too early for Rioch. Newton. Now Collins. Todd, the challenge coming from Noble. The foul given to Derby. Thomas on again for Nish. Archie Gemmell on the run. This long ball game. In behind them. It's a good cross for Charlie George. And the shot for Hector. Good, exciting stuff from Derby again. Fine cross from Archie Gemmell. Charlie George unable to get his own shot in. Tried to set one up for Hector, and Hector only just wide. He's taking lots of time over this. Leighton James knocking it on, and he as far as Webster. Recovered well. Rioch then for Todd. Webster. Todd. Oh, that was a bit loose for Noble. Summerby. Players losing their feet on this turf. Willie Morgan. That's good for Noble. Well, he found space for himself, did Peter Noble. Good cross from Morgan. Charlie George. Gemmell. Now Lee. Newton with Hector taking on Keith Newton. And it comes for Hector again. The shot for Lee. And now Gemmell. Yes! 2-0. 2-0 Derby. And Archie Gemmell breaks a scoreless run, stretching back almost 3 years to knock one in. 2-0. Newton then unable to dispossess Hector. Rioch coming in, squaring it back across the goal. The shot was on for Lee. It comes off him for Gemmell, and goal number 2. Todd. Webster. Lee. Foul given against Waldron for the first challenge on Lee. And it'll be Todd, I think, who takes this free kick. Newton coming back to cover. Nish. Charlie George. Beautiful dummy. There's the bang. There's the big bang. And Charlie George thought he got something for himself then. Tremendous save again from Stevenson. Fabulous little dummy by George, making the space for himself, whacking the shot bang on target. Wonderful save from Stevenson. Newton now for Burnley. Good one. Thomas got up well. Noble was pushed in the back by Thomas, and the penalty is given. No hesitation. Referee Daniels points to the spot. Thomas, the guilty party, says referee Daniels. Well-flighted ball coming in from Keith Newton. Thomas up to challenge for it. Peter Noble trying to get there, and the push coming, said referee Daniels, from Thomas on Noble. So Leighton James, the man who knocked in 7 penalties last season for Burnley, against Colin Bolton to draw a goal back. Oh, and that was terrifyingly, agonizingly bad for Leighton James. The man who is Dead-Eye Dick from the penalty spot so many times, both for his country Wales and for Burnley. Willie Morgan breaking out. It's no ball. On again for Morgan against Nish. Now Doherty the cross. Hankin not well marked there. Looking for the shooting angle. It's all gone for him now. Kevin Hector. Searching for Lee. And Lee is in behind Waldron. The pressure's still on though. Archie Gemmell. Newton. That'll come for Hector. And Leighton James came back, but the foul had been called when Hector was bundled off. So again, the sight of an anxious Burnley wall forming itself, knowing that Charlie George might unload something here. Rioch might. Franny Lee is in there as well. 3 players lined up. And Lee hit it on the ground, and it took a deflection. That hit the heel of Kevin Hector and sold Stevenson right down the river. It's 3-0 Derby, another bitter blow. And Franny Lee, the grin on his face, has a word with his old friend Summerby. How about them apples, he says.
An unusual goal created by Franny Lee, but as he teased ex-teammate Mike Summerby, it was one that had been perfected on the training ground after hours of practice. Charlie George, he signed in '75, another tremendous flair player.
Yes. How we ever signed Charlie for £100,000 at that particular time, I mean, that was a masterpiece by Dave Mackay. And I don't think we really realised the quality that Charlie had until he came amongst us and played with us. He was a tremendous player, very good touch, very good control, tremendous shot in his right foot, and a good fall in a sense for Francis Lee, who obviously we signed round about the same time.
And Charlie, well, Charlie, when he came to Derby, you know, everybody was saying he was a bit wayward and a bit of a bad lad and everything like that. But I struck up an understanding with Charlie. It was like reading the Beano between us, you know. We just passed the ball. We just played together, and it was simple. And Charlie, again, scored some very good goals, really. I just think that after I left, maybe he missed me a bit. But I think that when I think it was Tommy Doherty came second after that, you know, I think he decided to get rid of Charlie, you know, which Charlie really was the type of player who needed plenty of encouragement, you know, to bring the best out of him. And when he was playing well and he was on song, he was brilliant.
Our next featured game is against Midland neighbours Wolverhampton Wanderers. For the benefit of those viewers watching in black and white, Wolves had to borrow some shorts.
George taking over and hitting one. Oh, Charlie George unloading that big cannon right boot of his. Such a lazy action too, and such power on the end of it. Richards, good touch against Todd. Carr, in for Richards. This looks useful. Saving tackle by Nish. Richards again. Well fed for Hibbett. Must hit it. Still the pressure on. Palmer now for Wolves. Far post is Kindon. Got a good touch. And Bolton grabs it, second chance. Good driving strike by Wolves then, all initiated by John Richards down the middle. Hector on for Lee, cut out by Munro. Hector, Gemmell. Lee. Gemmell. Oh, good ball, Hector. 1-0. David Hector punishing poor Gary Pearce and the Wolves defence. for a bad error. Archie Gamble slipping and still not hustle as he stood to retrieve the situation. Wolves retreat. He sticks a perfect ball through for Hector. 1-0. Charlie George forward through the middle, goes to Lee first. That's McNabb's ball. Munro. Kindon. Neatly done for the big man. And got it again for Richards. Palmer. Carr. McNabb is deep over to the left, but it doesn't matter. Lee now, attacking 3 on 2. Hector. Lee. Oh, yes! He didn't mean it, but it worked for him. Oh, well, I blown. Franny Lee. 12 minutes, 2-0. Well, I think even Franny Lee would agree that he had just a fraction of luck then. Munro and McCall absolutely caught as Franny Lee attacks them through the middle of the park. The ball bobbled from one foot to the other. Once he'd seen the gap, he was in, and nothing was going to stop him scoring then. Munro for Hibbett. Back for Munro. Hibbett. McNabb. Well, Hibbett isn't quite sure where the goals were there. Steve Kendon. And the side footer from Ken Hibbett, well wide. Caught by Archie Gamble. First foul called against Wolves in the game. So Wolves' favour in the game. Archie Gamble. Lee. Gamble wins it back so easily. Hector is on. Hector is in. And Hector has scored. 3-0. And the same knockout drops that put Wolves on the rack in 10 minutes. Knocks in the third one at 27 minutes. Wolves caught in trouble. Attacked by Archie Gamble, who delayed his pass until the exact moment, delivered it into the path of Hector, and Hector really doesn't miss those. Gamble. Foul against Lee. Munro reaching across now for Palmer. That's a good ball. That's Hibbett. What a good one. What a fine cross ball. Now that was a good old-fashioned Wolves attack. Centre half to full-back, the cross in, and Hibbett on the end of it. The gliding header. Bolton, not a tall man, forced to push it away for the corner. Bob McNabb. Richards could be in here now. Oh, it's Kindon. That's Kindon's first goal of the season. Unselfishly given to him by John Richards. So it's 3-1 now. The second minute of the second half. The unfortunate Roy McFarlane slipping as that ball comes through the middle. John Richards going on, looking as though he's on for a goal himself. And utterly unselfishly knocks it sideways for Steve Kindon to score his first goal of the season, the first one by a Wolves side here since 1972. Munro forward. Farland then for Nish. George down, aiming for Lee. And Palmer drives forward for Wolves. Good ball by Bailey. Kindon. Bailey, and he's chased by Rioch. Well, the free kick is given against Rioch. assume that with 15 minutes to go of this game, we can assume that had Mike Bailey been able to take perhaps just 1.5 strides more, Wolves might have had a penalty. Oh, he wouldn't have needed even a stride and a half. He'd need about 6 inches. See that ball is almost on the 18-yard line. It's Willie Carr. He's over the ball, but behind him is Palmer. Hector, Gemmell, Lee in the wall, George and Nish ready to charge at him. Going far post, and that is a goal from John Richards. Beautifully done. And Derby absolutely caught flat. 31 minutes again of the game.
Kevin Hector's seen at his very best form in that game, the sort of form which brought him so many goals for the Rams. He was an indispensable asset to the team.
Yes, the more I look at the old videos, I realise how good a player Kevin was and what a prolific goal scorer he was. He scored a lot of goals for Derby County, and a lot of those goals he made for himself as well. He was always taking defenders on, always going past them, and he scored a lot of his goals at the near post, slotting the ball in the goalkeeper at the near post. Difficult angles really to score, and yet Kevin seemed to slip them in. But a tremendous athlete again, very quick, very sharp, and very brave for a forward.
Kevin, yeah, he was a fabulous goal scorer. If you look at his record, really, I would think he'd be one of the top goal scorers certainly since the war. A number of appearances for a number of goals. And he was always liable to... He was a bit like Jimmy Greaves. He wouldn't be in the game for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and all of a sudden he'd pop up and beat a couple of people and stick one in. But he was a lovely finisher and very clinical. Yeah, he was a fine goal scorer, Kevin, yeah.
Let's consider another player now, the man who made the midfield tick, the ever-running Archie Gemmell.
I think Archie was a good player to have in your team, because he never stopped running. I mean, if you look on the nearly all the games what he's played, 1 minute he's in his own penalty box, and then the next minute he's up in the opposing penalty box. So he got a great engine, and that was his biggest asset, really. I mean, if a game lasted for 3 hours, the one player who'll be still working and still going strong at the end of the game would be Archie Gemmell.
Now, the FA Cup was never Derby's favourite competition, but in 1976 they did reach the semi-finals. The run started with this classic cup tie against Everton on a cold January afternoon.
And Davis to hit it. Yes, and it will be now. Yes, indeed. Charlie George. 1-0. 3 minutes gone. Staggering blow then. Really staggering blow for Everton. The move starting off with a fine dummy run by Steve Powell to the left side that took 3 Everton men away. Roger Davis spotted his chance. Hit a real beauty that beat Davis off the post. When it came out, Charlie George, the poacher, was there to knock it in. Good curved ball then for George, on for James. Tackle by Darricott. That was one warning, says referee Homewood. Don't do that again. Free kick then, Newton takes it. Davis, half a touch. Bernard, Archie Gemmell, he really made that ball his. Unlucky, ball comes back off Hurst. On to Gemmell, Everton throw. Darricott down for Hurst. And that's taken away from Todd by Latchford. Neatly done for Pearson. Yes! Oh, that was so unlucky. Pearson really bent that ball 2 feet in the air. Beat the dive of Bolton and hit the post. That was darned unlucky. Header, Charlie George. Davis. George taking over. Now Rioch. Nice little bit of acceleration then. Being chased by Jones. Still going. did very well indeed. Just a little bit more air under that cross ball would have found Charlie George, but it was a fine run by Rioch. Pearson down for Latchford. Powell. Visiting Everton fans, and there are plenty of them here, didn't like that pass back from Steve Powell, number 7. George got a touch. James. Rioch taking it on. No, now it's George to try an early one. Charlie George just seeing the whites of the goalposts and let's go immediately. Hamilton. Dobson. Did remarkably well, did Dobson. Latchford did well. Pearson now has a chance. And it's just wide, and you got the feeling that if Dobson had thrown his leg, he might have guided that in. Beautiful little bit of football, starting off with Dobson, winning it away from 3 Derby men. Good pass to Latchford, nicked on immediately to Pearson. The shot just beating the post, and Dobson just too late to get a touch to it. Well, there's good noise coming up from this crowd. Evenly balanced for Derby and Everton. 31,000 of them here. Bernard now. Kenyon. Lyons. Daniel doing the cover. Only back as far as Pearson, though. Latchford. Bernard. Stretched wide for Darricott. It's Thomas down. Dobson. Pearson couldn't get there. Bernard's going to try it. Oh, what a good shot, too. Everton really putting the fears into these Derby fans now as they hammer away looking for the equaliser. That time it was Bernard whipping at a shot, wickedly just wide of the post. That was Lyons. Chased down for Latchford as Todd gets there. Latchford still there. No foul. Jones, it was a bad ball played to him. It had to be early. Knocked out for a throw-in by Thomas. Gary Jones to take it. Ricky Bernard. Early. Hamilton. Neat stuff. Did Bolton get a touch? No, he didn't. Everton then pounding, driving, looking for this equaliser. And it's Derby fans who are quiet, and it's travelling Goodison fans who are making all the noise. There they go. Bernard's going through the middle. And Dobson spotted him. Good cover by Newton. But that was class football. Good running by Bernard. Good vision by Dobson. Good cover by Newton. Davis. Davis still going. They let him go. Shot on for George. And he scores number 2. Charlie George. 2-0. And Derby fans relieved that the tension is lifted. Rise to greet this man as he strikes his 16th goal of the season. He's never scored so many in a season before in any time in football. 17 minutes into the second half. Refereeing by John Homewood, allowing Davis to go on. He knocks it sideways for George, and in off the far post. Well, what a remarkable game this has been. Everton caught cold in 3 minutes. And Charlie George picked a ball up from Roger Davis off the post and knocked in the first, and now Charlie George has made it 2-0. George aiming for Davis. Booted away by Lyons. Latchford under this with Todd. Powell helping it on. Hamilton down. Bernard. Pearson. Latchford is all right. Well, that was the moment that Big Bob Latchford might have kept his goal-a-game run going. A goal-a-game run coming here today with 7 in a row. just about the first half chance that he's had. Bolton coming up quickly to Latchford's feet, forced the big fella to strike it early, and he scooped it high over the bar. Once the ball goes dead, Everton will make their substitution. Number 10, Jimmy Pearson, they're going to take off. Bernard didn't win it back off George. Kenyon down. Dobson. Todd winning it back. Powell for Daniel. Davis gliding it down for James. James still fighting for it. Just got the toe end of his boot to it. Roger Davis had to make the save. And George charging after this with Lyons, knocking it back. Dobson gets it on well. Latchford, Dobson. Interception by Todd. Gemmell. Running square, and there's nobody right side for him now. Charlie George, what a beautiful ball. Charlie George, the chance of his hat-trick there. Not too sure that he knew exactly what it was he was trying to do at that moment. Newton feeding Gemmell. Now Daniel. George. Hurst really doing an awful lot of good interception, intelligent interception work for Everton. Hamilton cutting away for Everton now, chased by Gemmell. Tackle by Gemmell, giving a free kick, I think. Number 4, Hurst going over there. And they wave big Roger Kenyon to go forward. Hurst's kick. Kenyon got a touch, and Jones got it on, and it's in the back of the net. 2-1. And Gary Jones gets the credit for the goal. 2-1. And there's about 13 minutes to go. The free kick floating in from...
Charlie George scoring the 2 vital goals for the Rams, both laid on by Roger Davis. He was only in the side due to an injury to Franny Lee. Roger has fond memories of the bubbly character.
It was probably an honour and a bit of a pleasure to play with Franny, because they brought him late on from Manchester City, and he probably was a bit dubious about bringing him, and we thought, what are we buying? You know, as players you do in your own club. And he was a great lift that season. We won the league, and whether we'd have won it without Franny, I very much doubt it. I think he lifted everybody in the dressing room. He's a great character. On the pitch, he's a good leader, and to play with up front. I mean, he'd talk, he was experienced, he'd really help you along. And he was a real character. I think people used to come and watch people like Franny Lee, because he was a character to watch.
Franny Lee as well, you know, he came to Derby when he was probably over the top, but he proved a lot of people wrong. I mean, for 3 years we was at Derby, he did the job. He got the goals, and he did well for us.
What was it like playing alongside somebody like Francis Lee?
I enjoyed it, because he was a great character, not just on the field but off the field as well, and he got on great with everybody, and I enjoyed playing alongside him, because he gave me lots of tips how to fall over in the penalty area.
He was the master of that, wasn't he?
He was superb, yeah.
That was... A lot of people say that to me, you know. I don't think in my career they had more than half a dozen dubious penalty decisions given against me, you know. But if I'd have had all the decisions which should have been given against me, I'd have probably had another 150 penalties. But if Kevin suddenly said I told him to fall over, he could do that pretty well himself. I mean, so the last game after the Ipswich game, when I scored, that was my last game I ever played. I scored 2 goals in the 90th minute. We stopped on the way home at the Bridge Hotel at Huntingdon, and the coach broke down about 4 times. Everybody said I'd been tampering with the diesel tank, but it broke down about 4 times, and the hotel ran out of champagne, and we finished up. I think we got back to Derby about 4:15 in the morning. And two directors' wives have been ringing up continually saying it was a joke. It couldn't take that long to get from Ipswich to Derby.
It's a great way to finish your career, though, to score 2 goals in the 90th minute.
Yeah, and having seen him on the film, I don't think I could have missed him.
Franny's football career came to an end at Portman Road in April 1976. It was to be a unique swan song in fitting with his unique character.
Hector goes in there, comfortably enough, making it all look as if it's a practice game. Beautifully worked with the old 1-2 on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Todd, playing in midfield as an experiment, snaps it up, makes for the open space and turns it comfortably into the path of Kevin Hector. Lee to Todd. King is on the right, Hector up front. This is Lee again coming for it. Now Lee, now King rather. King against Mills. And down he goes. It's a penalty. Well, some protests from the Ipswich players, and understandably so. He went down as if blown over by the wind almost. Certainly leant on, but down he went, and Mr. Walters, in his last league game, quickly points to the spot, and Bruce Rioch's going to line this one up, giving Derby County a chance to go 2 up, and we've had only 11 minutes. Bruce Rioch. My word, there was nothing soft about that one. No chance for Cooper at all. Sharkey to Lambert. It's Powell behind him. Roger Osborne with a bit of space. Newton coming to him. Now Lambert, he can get past the goalkeeper here. Yes. Well taken. Well, all the fun of the fair here. Before we've had 15 minutes, we've had 3 goals, and that one was nicely taken. Perhaps the marking wasn't quite up to scratch, but give Lambert the credit. When Osborne put that ball through, he made the run. He got there, and from a narrow angle, beat the rush by goalkeeper Graham Mosley. And Mick Lambert collects his 10th goal of the season. And here's another one, is it, for Rioch? No trouble at all. 3-1 now. And that one coming 25 seconds after the Mick Lambert goal. Well, if you allow Bruce Rioch freedom on his left foot, that close to the goal, you don't need to worry too much about where it's going to go after that. Well won by Wymark. Webster, bad pass to Birching. Can he chip this one in? And here comes Wymark. Good play by Birching. Finished off by Wymark. And it all came, I'm afraid, from a bad mistake by the veteran Ron Webster. A bad back pass. Birching couches on it and opens the path up for Wymark. And we've had 20 minutes and 5 goals. Nice bit of play by Francis Lee. Rioch as Lee goes in for the return. And here's Hector. Beautifully played. Well, what a good turn that was. Marking not up to scratch once again by the Ipswich defence. But give Hector the credit. It started with Lee and Rioch out on the left here. Lee goes into the middle. It finds Hector. It turns beautifully and nudges one quietly past Cooper. There goes Gemmell forward. This is Lee to Gemmell. King's inside square of him. Up goes Lee. Lee coming again. And Charlie's being held back. He's scored. It's a goal by Francis Lee. Exactly 1 minute before a distinguished career ends, Francis Lee puts one in the back of the net. One wonders if that wasn't with the cooperation of Alan Hunter, first of all, and then Mick Mills, but he put it in the back of the net nevertheless, and that makes it Ipswich 2, Derby County 5. In injury time with the issue settled. And I think the season is quite over in some respects. There might be some harsh words said in the Ipswich dressing room. But anyhow, here's King, who's shown some nice touches on his first league game, and Davis wide open. And another one. Lee again! What a way to go. 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes. And that makes it 2-1.
So those were the glory days. Fantastic players, great goals, wonderful occasions. I hope it brought the memories flooding back for you as it did for me. After Franny's last goal, our last is my favourite, Alan Hinton's special at the Normo end.
And it's come for Hinton, and he can whack it from there. Oh yes!